All right, guys, well, welcome to Mod and Pop Thrift. Today I've got a haul that I'm just wrapping up on, and then we'll show some segments of what solds, of course, and then I've got a little segment where I'm talking about some dolls from earlier in the week. So let's get into it. We are headed into the garage because I hit an estate sale today and I just lined up all the stuff over here. So I'll switch the camera around and start talking about the stuff. I got some really good finds, unusual things. So yeah. Here, this is a vintage jacket. This place was a garage that hadn't been opened in what they said was 25 years at least. I think that kind of bared out in what I was able to find. This is just kind of a vintage puffer jacket. It's reversible. It doesn't have a brand on it, but it's neat. I mean, it's bread and butter stuff. It's $20 probably. I spent $120 in total. This is a 1950s leather bomber jacket, and I don't know how well it's showing up on camera here, but it's moldy. If this wasn't a 50s jacket, it would probably maybe not even be worth salvaging. I mean, you can see how stiff it is, but it's Robert Hall, and so I'm either gonna try to salvage it myself or I'm gonna move it on to somebody who can for cheap. I mean, I think I have $1 or $2 into it, but you can see that sleeve. It's real musty and moldy, but it can be salvaged, and I think it should be because it's a 50s like bomber. So that's way cool. This, I don't know what this landmark is that it's talking about. It looks like the top of the Space Needle to me. I'm going to do some digging and figure out. But this was 50 cents for just an old windbreaker with that cool emblem on it. A lot of this stuff has prices on it, but it's probably not what I actually paid because I just made a pile and they took an offer. This is, if this was real, it would be way awesome. But it's not. It's plastic, and it's not in great shape either. But because it's plastic, I should be able to just wipe it down, like a lady's duster that's like crocodile themed, but it's pleather. That's way cool. And again, I've got almost nothing into any of this stuff. This is a 1992 plush Barney. He's a little dirty, but that'll sell. That's 15 bucks. I paid almost nothing for it. I'll put up a picture of this. That is a Robin Williams Mork and Mindy 1978 sleeping bag. They actually set that aside and said, oh, I don't think anybody else would buy it, but we thought you would because they know I'm a sucker. And I am so excited to own it. We'll see. Small pile of stuff. I just figured out what this goes to, and I don't remember now. This is 1936 community chest. It was just in the box with all these little toys, as well as the car. And so these aren't much. They're like maybe $6-8 for both of those. But I think the get out of jail community chest card, if you're gonna have one card out of Monopoly, that's probably the one to get. These books are cool. Couple of Gremlin books. This is a toothbrush holder. If you stick him against the wall, you can see where you put the toothbrushes in there, and he just kind of holds against the wall. 1979 Avon, I think. Spider-Man. I didn't look that up, but it's cool. This, I couldn't exactly get to work. You spin the helicopter part, and I've seen enough of these to know. And it clicks, and then you pull the trigger, and this part's supposed to shoot up in the air. Haven't got it to work yet. I'm sure I will. The books are Frankenstein Moved to the Fourth Floor, The Mystery of Dracula's Castle. This one's called Haunted Stories. Breakin', like break dancing. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put up a better picture of that one. I was pretty excited about it. My On the Road with Michael Jackson and Just Michael. I think those are two books from the same series. Bruce Springsteen, Wrestling Stars, Cyndi Lauper. And then this says printed 1969. This is printed 1969. It doesn't appear to be open. I'm going to go through it and make sure it's not missing any cards. Or it's not because it's not sealed. But anyway, Space Race the game. That was pretty cool. And all of this stuff was just kind of in a box, and they sold me the box as a whole. A lot of this stuff was. This Caleb picked out because he liked the bear. He didn't even know who Yogi was. But that's a vintage snapback. It's kind of an odd shape. I mean, I don't even think we paid the 15 cents they were asking. It's a neat thing, and I will figure out a way to make money on that. This is a Lee brand denim jacket made in the US. It has condition issues, but I think it should have condition issues. That might be a big deal. The sleeves are a little ratty, but I think for some people that adds to it. That one has a story to tell, and so it's not in the best condition, but it's cool. These jeans, come on now. They're just as 80s as you can be, women's jeans. And so we'll see what comes of those. Well, this guy is my little buddy, or my buddy. I could sing you the theme song. Yeah. Not that this doll was meaningful in my life. And I never actually owned one. I wanted to, but I had a buddy. I had a twin brother, so I didn't really need one. And this one, I texted my brother and said, leave no soldier behind. You can't, I couldn't leave him in a dark basement to get thrown away. Maybe I should have. Empty box for the Atari Star Wars games, empty boxes. This Han Solo is just the card, but it's worth probably 10 or 12 bucks, even in this shape. This is what you would call a 77 back. So if you're not doing action figures a lot, then like knowing what to call this card might be weird, but generally cards refer to the number of figures advertised on the back. And so at this point in Star Wars, there were 77 action figures in the entire series. So this is called a 77 back card. This one is unpunched, and that would make a big difference if it were complete, if he was on there. That means it never got hung on a peg hook. It sat on a shelf, and so it makes the box this much more complete. And so the unpunched thing really only matters if it's like super mint in all other ways. But it's a neat thing, and I'm glad it didn't get thrown away before I showed up to that estate sale. I don't normally buy baby clothes, but how am I going to pass this stuff up? 1982 ET. This would probably fit like my 3-year-old. It says medium. I don't know. I don't know if this is an iron-on to an old shirt or if this was released. I remember them doing a lot of iron-ons. My dad had a couple of Pac-Man iron-on shirts, but this is way cool. This one obviously is put out by Universal this way. I didn't notice until I got it home that the armpit was completely ripped out and had been repaired and ripped out again. But this is a scene from the Gremlins. Gizmo driving a remote control car into some Gremlin bad guys. And that one's really small. That's like maybe a 2T. Oh yeah, it says 2T. And then this one, I suspect this is an iron-on as well. This is a vintage original Return of the Jedi shirt, and it's on a really, that's my adult hand in the middle of that. That might fit a 5-year-old. It says it's small, but these are cool, and for what I paid for everything, I'm glad that these were in the lot. And then on the back of that one, it says short stuff, Cargill. I don't know, but somebody's gonna want those. This is Tarzan. And I know because they said they sold the rest of the costume, and the person who bought it couldn't find the mask. This, I was looking through the box that had all those books in it, and this box was under it. Now these things just tickle my fancy, Striper CCM magazine. What the Bible says about Christian music. I bet that did not age well. Mike Warnke, speaking of things that didn't age well. So, Mike's on the back too. And laugh. Michael W. Smith, look at that hair. And they're kind of in my niche. I went through this a little bit. It's a weird cup. There's just random tiny stuff in that box. How about a little video game? Star Wars, like you turn that reel and there's a dirty, I was gonna say a dirty movie. That would be the wrong thing to say. It's a movie that has dirt on it. So my neighbor just walked by me while I was making the video of the inside of the Star Wars thing. And he didn't say anything, but he's looking at me like, what are you doing? Which I think is probably a legitimate question. It probably looked a little weird. Chess set is all there. I put all the pieces together. I didn't even check to see if it was all there before we left with it. What was really funny was I put all the pieces into a hat and asked Caleb to carry the hat. And he's like, Dad, why don't you just grab the board? And I was like, what? Because this thing was upside down, and I thought it was just a box to a shelf, but nope. There's another cup with vintage. These aren't Lego branded Legos, so they're probably not worth anything, and a lot of just little odds and end parts. This thing is a racing game. Who knows whether or not it works. We'll figure it out. This is a heat lamp, and I just thought it was really cool, and the bulb works in it. It's a VCR that didn't cost me much of anything. And then perhaps you have noticed on the side this book that is How to Draw Animals. No, wait, that's not the exciting thing. Look at that. That is a Sputnik light. It has, I'll put up a picture of somebody's finished one. I paid $50 for it. I went to the sale to get this thing because it was in the pictures. And it was moved up onto the porch, and I asked about it, and they're like, oh, they moved it off because he didn't want to sell it for nothing, and we're just taking offers on everything on this. And I was like, ask him if he'd take $50 for it, because I understand not wanting to sell it for nothing. But I'm gonna try to buy it, and $50. He thanked me for making a real offer. Evidently, he had not heard any decent offers on it. I'm excited about this thing. I think it's going to be some real money. I actually have one person who's already interested in buying it, and I may sell it to him instead of trying to fix it myself, because if I break it, then I'm in real trouble. If it's already broken, then I won't be too mad at myself. This is the kind of thing that you see from time to time at an estate sale, and it's a record player, and who knows whether or not the record player works. And then this is just the volume knobs and stuff. This was interesting. JVC, Japanese Victrola Company. This is very early JVC, but because it doesn't say on it solid state anywhere, then that's why I would be interested in it, whether or not it works. Because you come around the back, and down here are these vacuum tubes. And that one says X7, which actually says 12AX7. And a 12AX7 vacuum tube is the most desirable type of vacuum tube. So if I can get this whole thing for 20 bucks, I can sell just that part for that. And then if I'm parting it out, I've got some old JVC speakers. And if I can pull out this whole chassis, if you look, it attaches with 2 screws down here, and then the volume knobs go up through, and there's screws over here holding this thing on. And so if I just remove those screws, this whole thing will come out, and I can plug anything into this, and people power their radios, power their guitar amps off of these little old amps. So if I can get this thing, if I get it going and it works and I get it out, that could be a $50 amp. Or if the record player works, then this is probably a $100 unit. But if I'm not in it too far, parting these things out is easy. And there's pretty good money in them if they have solid electronics. Like a 12AX7 is the good one here. These are not, but you would want these, if this was the best of the best, you'd want these to be EL84, which I forget what the American equivalent is. That's the, but they'll say both. And then, so if you can get, and you want them to say either made in Germany, made in Great Britain, or made in Holland, those would be the good places that good tubes are made. So if you're looking at tubes, Amperex, Mullard, Telefunken, these are either made in the US or made in Japan, which makes them lower end. But that 12AX7 in there has got me excited about this whole thing. So I'm always cautious about getting too deep into a console record player when it's a huge box, because what are you going to do with the cabinet? Sometimes you can empty them out and donate them to a charity and they'll do something with them. And sometimes you can't, if it's a nice cabinet, I wouldn't just dump trash on some charity, but sometimes you can donate a nice cabinet. This one I'll just break up and throw away if I need to take all the parts out of it. And sometimes you can just set them at the curb and some lady will chalk paint it and put it in her booth. But these console record players can be good to make a home stereo or to sell it for parts. So you can normally get them reasonably cheap because people don't want to deal with them. All right, I'm a toy guy. A lot of times I'm selling toys. Selling a lot of shirts, a lot of snapback hats. But some days I'm a toy guy, and this is what you get to do when you're a toy guy. So these were all just in Ziploc bags. And these gross, weird little dolls are extremely collectible. And so like this girl, I figured out by watching this woman, the homeschooling picker, that this girl her name is Laguna Blue. So then I'm like, oh, here's a book that says Laguna Blue. Well, let me dig through this pile over here, and I've started to sort it. And I found, oh, this is her shoe, by going on to eBay and finding Laguna Blue that looks like that, and she's wearing these shorts. And so then I'm starting to look at the most complete ones and ones in the box. And, oh, those are the right shorts. Well, I have 2 pairs of those shorts, and this is the hoodie that she's wearing, and I have 2 of those hoodies, and this is her swimsuit, and this is her weird little minion fish. And then I think this is her hairbrush. I haven't decided for sure if that's her hairbrush. But it means at 10 o'clock on a Monday night, I am sitting at the kitchen table with a big pile of strange, macabre accessories for over-sexualized dolls. Just trying to figure out what's what. And that's what goes into what solds, because we're going to do some what solds, but after you get to do the fun sourcing and before you get to do the fun what solds, you have to do put the pile of crap you found in a bag together so that a collector gets everything they're looking for. And that's not as fun, but I'm learning a lot about these, and I've sold a lot of Monster High dolls before, and so I knew a little bit. I don't think I've had any of these figures. And then the next time I find a Laguna Blue, I'll know what she's worth because I will have sold her before. I did have one Draculaura that I sold in the last set of these that I had that was in this set too. It's a learning process, and it's not always glamorous, and that was the point of this. And so, I think I'm done with this girl, but she was wearing like the wrong top, and I had to change her clothes. It's a super weird process for me because it's like, but she's missing one shoe. She's got her fish. She's got her brush. She's missing an earring, but she does have this one earring. But the comps are like probably $65, $70 on this one figure. And then I have all of these that aren't, and most of them aren't going to be as good, but all these accessories to go through. Good morning, Mod and Pop Thrifters. We are back in the storeroom with some what's holds. Saturday Night Fever. Sealed cassette, $14.99 plus shipping. $2.80 shipping, media mail. I want to say I paid 50 cents for that. Or I might have bought it in a lot of a bunch of stuff where I paid $5 for all of them. Anyway, we're making money. West Virginia Mountaineers vintage sweatshirt. I paid $3 for this over the summer, like 4th of July time period, while we were on vacation and we were driving through West Virginia. Sold for $17.99 free shipping. I picked up this t-shirt the other day for $1. It commemorates the Oklahoma City Federal Building bombing, and it sold for $18.50 free shipping. I was on a tear a couple of months ago buying every fanny pack I saw. I didn't sell very many of them. This one finally sold $14.99 free shipping. It is Eddie Bauer brand. Fanny packs are real hit or miss. This is a gray cardigan. It was hanging on a rack where a lot of things were overpriced at a yard sale, so I didn't hold out much hope. It is Banana Republic, but I asked her how much it was, and she's like, if it's not priced, it's $1. And I took it up there. I was like, this is $1? Yep. But it turns out rather than being Banana Republic, it's Banana Republic Factory, which means that it's something that is made for their factory outlet stores. So it's less desirable, but it's still Banana Republic new with tag for $1. So I didn't get hurt because it sold for $24.99 free shipping.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to 5 Kid Shop Peoria. I'm Tom. This is
Asher.
Okay, so the other day we went to a yard sale, and what did I have you pull out of a bin at the yard sale for $0.25?
Furby?
Yeah. And we brought the Furby home, and it worked right away, right?
No.
It didn't work right away. Well, then we can't sell it if it didn't work.
Yeah.
What did we do?
We fixed it.
Who fixed it?
Me.
Really? What do we have to do?
We had to change the batteries and clean it out.
So the batteries were yucky on the inside, right? And what did you have to do? Did we spray it with stuff?
Yep.
Vinegar
and I cleaned
solution.
it with a dirty toothbrush.
Vinegar solution in a dirty toothbrush. And then we put batteries in it and put the screws back in it. And what happened?
It worked.
Yay!
And we played with it for a minute, but
We played with it for a couple minutes. And then we put it in 5 Kid Shop. And it sold today for $10.99 plus shipping. My buddy, wherever he goes, wherever I go, he goes. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy and me. All right, and I think that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing. Follow me on Instagram. I put a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram all the time, things that I'm finding that don't necessarily make the video. Got a lot more what solds that aren't going to make this video, so we'll throw them in the next one. So come on back. Thanks, guys.